Hey guys, welcome to Loop with Jack, your go-to channel for Loopy Pro tips, tutorials, and live demonstrations. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how you can use some chop and stutter effects to add some spice to your live looping performances. So let's get into it. Now, before we start, if you want access to today's template or my fully featured template, please check the links in the description below where you can download them for free. Okay, so let's take a look at the plugin we have chosen to use to create our stutter and chop effects. The plugin I'm going to be using is called Tornado by Sugarbytes. The reason I have chosen to use Tornado by Sugarbytes is because it's relatively cheap. It comes with a whole host of effects which we can use not just for chop and stutter, but we can use them on vocal chains, guitar chains, etc. But I'm just going to show you a few ways that I like to use this on kind of a mix bus scenario, so I can add a chop or stutter to all of my clips at once, except for the vocals. I don't want my vocals going to the chop and stutter effects, so I'm going to show you how I configure that now. Let's real quickly build the loop so that we can apply the effects and see what it sounds like. Let's bring in some drums. Bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guitar. Bit more guitar. Okay, so we've got a nice little loop going here. Let's get into how we can add some chop and stutter effects. The first thing I'm going to do is head over to the mixer window. So I'm going to select the mixer window from the bottom left-hand corner. I need to click the plus icon now in the bottom right-hand corner. And I need to add a bus. Once I've created a bus, I'm going to click the little plus icon at the top and search for Tornado. Okay, now at the moment, nothing is going into Tornado, so we need to change that. So if we look at all our different clip colors along here, at the moment, they're going to outputs 1 and 2. But I want them to go to Tornado, or bus A in this case, and then I'm going to send that bus to outputs 1 and 2 afterwards. So first of all, I'm going to go along each channel and I'm going to click no output. Now, just below where it says no output, there's a little plus icon just above the fader, and that's going to let me send this clip to bus A, the one that we have just created. So I'm going to do that. And then you've got this little circle where it says A, and at the moment nothing is going to bus A, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to raise it all the way up to full. I'm going to repeat those steps now for every one of my clip colors. Okay, so now every one of my clips is going to bus A. Bus A has Tornado on it. And then if you look down the channel on bus A, you can see that that goes to output 1 and 2. So if I've configured this correctly, if I press play on the loop that I just built, you should hear everything just as you did. Which we do, so we know that everything is now working just as we want it. So next, let's open up Tornado and let's maximize it. Now you've got these 8 slots where you can add effects. On the left, you've got a whole host of effects, reverbs, flangers, delays. There's a whole lot this can do, and this is only really going to scratch the surface as to what you can do with Tornado. The ones we're interested in today is Slice Arranger and Stutter. Now you can get creative with the different sounds that you use, but they're just the ones that I'm going to use to demonstrate today. So to load an effect inside a Tornado, you click and drag. So I'm going to drag the Slicer Arranger across to this first square. I'm going to add a stutter to the second square, another one to the third square, and one more stutter here. Now, within the individual squares, if you look at this first square here, I can press the arrow and there are different types of, say, slice arrangers or different types of stutters. So we're going to have a little listen to a few of those now and then get a feel for which ones we might want to keep. Okay, so I'm going to close down Tornado for a second. So let's press play. Open up Tornado. This it's a little bit quieter just so you can hear me over the top. Let's try out this first effect here by dragging the dial up. Quite a wild one. Let's try Stut and Pan on the second channel here. I like that one a lot. That's got a nice pan left and right kind of sound. Let's try the basic slicer range. Cool, so that takes a slice and starts looping it individually. And then let's just try the standard stutter on channel 4. That's pretty cool. So depending on how high we go with the dial there, it'll change from quarter notes, and it will increase the rate, the speed rate there as well. Cool. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm happy with those 4 different sounds. Of course, go through now, find the ones that really suit you and your music before we move to the next step. Next, we need to create a way to turn these on and off. So as normal, we're going to go to the pencil icon, bottom left-hand side, click on that, and we are going to create a button grid. Now I'm just going to click along the top here and go for 4 different squares. Okay. Now I'm going to label these chop 1, chop 2, chop 3, and you guessed it, chop 4. Okay, so we need to configure these chop buttons in the correct way. I want it to be so that when I press and hold the chop, the effect is enabled, and then when I let go, that effect stops. So let's have a little look at how to do that. It can get a little bit complicated here. So let's edit that bank, and let's click on chop 1, press and release, because we want it to do something when we press it, and we want it to do something when we release. Or we want the effect to come on when we're holding it. We want the effect to go off when we release it. So 2 separate actions. We're going to go under Effect Actions and Adjust Effect Parameter. Under Action, we keep it at toggle value. The target is going to be Tornado that we've already set up. And I'm looking for Effects 1 Dry and Wet Mix. Now the on value is basically how dialed up that effect is on that channel. So the amount of that effect. And I'm going to set that as something like 0.4, which kind of means 40%. And then the off value is going to be 0. I won't make you watch this, but I'm going to repeat those steps for each of those channels and make sure that they are adjusting effects 2 dry wet, effects 3 dry wet, and effects 4 dry wet. Okay, so just quickly, I found that having it set to 0.4 when it was on wasn't quite enough or giving me quite enough of an effect. So I've just changed that to around 0.7. But again, play with the settings to get what works for you. Let's just test this out and check that the chops work. So let's press play. And let's press chop 1. Pretty crazy. Not sure I'd use that one. Let's try chop 2. 2, 3, 4. Not too bad, quite subtle. Chop 3. Nice little repetitive motion. Chop 4. That's quite nice. And you'll notice as I'm doing those different chops, you can still hear my vocals and they're not being affected by the chops, which is what I want, because often I'm playing guitar, singing, and I don't want my vocal channel to get affected by that. That's why I did a bus. I sent the clips to the bus, so only the clips are getting chopped or stutters added to them, and any of my inputs are not getting affected. So let's have a little play around with these and see what happens. going to be playing like this and just try and add a little bit of interest at the end of each loop. So obviously you wouldn't overdo it. So yeah, that's how you can set up chop and stutter effects inside Loopy Pro. I've just literally grabbed 4 effects, bunged them in there to show you what to do. I don't actually think the chop sounds that I've got going on here I'm going to keep. I'll probably have a little mess around, try and find something a little bit more musical, but I just wanted to show you the concept and the idea, and then you can have a go at it. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to watch another video live looping from me, then click the video in the middle of your screen right now. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.